Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. For Roloff family latest news update, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. With Little People Big World finally coming to an end after 25 seasons, the majority of the remaining cast has expressed how they feel about it all ending. It turns out, there's one Roloff family member in the bunch who isn't happy about this chapter finally closing. So what did they have to say after being on the air since 2006? It was recently confirmed that Little People Big World would not be coming back for future seasons. While the writing has been on the wall for some time, it took months for an official word to come down the pipeline. In many ways, this merely confirmed what the vast majority of Little People Big World fans already suspected. Zach Roloff and Tori Roloff officially quitting the show turned out to be the beginning of the end, as that made it so that the last of Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff's children officially quit filming for good, with Little People Big World officially over after 25 seasons. Several cast members have shared their thoughts on the matter. As fans have seen in recent updates from Amy Roloff, she got Chris Marek and herself tickets to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It certainly seems like they have a lot more time on their hands without having to work things around a busy TLC filming schedule. It turns out, an insider close to the situation even said that the majority of the Roloff family has a sense of relief over things ending. The insider said, "The feeling for most of the family is a huge sense of relief that it's over," based on what the Little People Big World insider recently dished. There is one Roloff family member who is not happy about the show finally riding off into the sunset. Matt Roloff seems to be the only family member who wanted to keep the show going. However, with Zach and Tori gone, along with their children, that would only leave Matt Roloff, Karen Chandler, Amy Roloff, and Chris Marek left to film. In addition, Karen made no secret of wanting filming to be over either. The insider said, "Matt Roloff was the only one that wanted to come back for another season. Everyone else was done a long time ago." The insider went on to add, "They're happy to have the show behind them, but they're still dealing with the scars of years on camera. Everyone knows who they are now. Everywhere they go, people recognize them, and it can feel weird." For all the latest Little People Big World news, come back again to TV shows Ace for more. It was a reality TV show that aired for over 15 years, showcasing the lives of the Roloff family, particularly the challenges faced by family members with dwarfism. The Roloffs quickly became household names, with the family's diverse dynamics, both humorous and heartfelt, capturing the hearts of millions. The show originally centered on Matt and Amy Roloff and their 4 children, Zach, Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob, and their life on a farm in Oregon. As time passed, the show evolved to focus on the personal lives and relationships within the family as they navigated challenges, both medical and emotional, while dealing with the pressures of public life. However, the show came to an unexpected end in 2021, marking a major change in the Roloff family's lives. Though it was met with mixed reactions from fans, it also sparked significant conversation among the family members themselves. While some members voiced their acceptance or disappointment at the show's cancellation, one family member in particular expressed strong discontent, signaling deeper underlying issues. In this article, we delve into who this family member is, why they're unhappy about the cancellation, and how the end of LPBW has affected their life and relationships. Before becoming a reality TV sensation, the Roloff family lived relatively ordinary lives in Oregon. Matt and Amy Roloff, both of whom have dwarfism, made the decision to turn their personal story into something more. They opened their farm to visitors, offering a sense of inclusion and a chance for the public to experience life from their perspective. This led to them being approached by producers from LPBW. The early days of the show depicted the family's love for one another and the farm they worked on. But it also brought to light the complexities of growing up with dwarfism. The kids, Zach and Jeremy, were the focus for much of the show's early seasons as they navigated school, sports, relationships, and all of the challenges that come with being part of a family so visible in the public eye. However, over the years, the family grew, and so did their storylines. Relationships changed, the kids grew up, and some members began to distance themselves from the show. the increasing tension between Matt and Amy as they dealt with their separation and eventual divorce added another layer to the show's dynamic. This shift in family dynamics became central to the later seasons. The rise to fame, though exciting, was not without its challenges. The family was exposed to public scrutiny, which often made the private issues of their lives more difficult to handle. As the show progressed, the Roloffs learned that being in the limelight had its pros and cons. What followed was a more personal, emotional journey that extended beyond the farm into their lives, marriages, and business dealings. In 2021, it was announced that Little People, Big World would be coming to an end, a decision that left many fans heartbroken. While the show had continued for a long time, attracting a loyal fan base, it also faced difficulties in terms of ratings and the shifting dynamics of the Roloff family. One of the most significant contributing factors to the show's cancellation was the departure of several key family members from the public eye. Matt and Amy's divorce created tension between them, with differing visions about the future of the farm. Zach and Jeremy, both of whom had been central to the show's plot, moved on to pursue their own personal interests, with some choosing to focus on family and others pursuing entrepreneurial ventures. Meanwhile, Jacob, the youngest of the Roloff children, had distanced himself from the family's public life entirely, opting to live outside of the spotlight. The show's cancellation marked the end of an era for the Roloff family, but it also created a sense of uncertainty about their future. While the family members who remained involved in the show expressed various levels of resignation and acceptance, not everyone was content with how things turned out. The family member who publicly expressed unhappiness about the cancellation of LPBW is Zach Roloff, one of the twins from the show. Zach, who had been a central figure throughout the series, voiced his disappointment and frustration after hearing that the show was coming to an end. While the rest of the family seemed to take the news with varying levels of acceptance, Zach's reaction stood out as particularly vocal. Zach's role on the show had evolved over the years. Initially, much of his storyline focused on his childhood and the challenges he faced as a young adult with dwarfism. However, as the years passed, his storyline delved into deeper, more personal issues, including his relationship with his wife, Tori, and their children, as well as the family's ongoing challenges with the farm and business. His unhappiness with the cancellation may stem from multiple factors. Firstly, Zach had grown up with the show, and it was a significant part of his identity and livelihood. The show not only brought him fame, but also helped build his brand and career. Secondly, Zach had been involved in several key storylines over the years, and the idea of the family's narrative coming to a close left him feeling like a chapter of his life was being abruptly ended. Zach's frustration with the show's end was also deeply rooted in his investment in the farm. The farm had been a central part of the Roloff family's story. For Zach, the prospect of losing it, or the farm's future uncertain, made the cancellation even more difficult to accept. Additionally, Zach expressed concerns over how the cancellation might affect his family's public visibility. As a father with young children, Zach was concerned about the future of his family's brand and how they would be able to continue their public work without the platform of LPBW. While Zach expressed his frustration openly, other members of the Roloff family had a more muted or different reaction. Matt Roloff, the patriarch of the family, seemed to have accepted the cancellation, possibly due to his focus on the next chapter in his life and business. Amy Roloff, too, appeared to have moved on, as she had already begun her own business ventures and focused on her life post-divorce from Matt. Jeremy Roloff, who had distanced himself from the show years before, also showed little public reaction to the end of LPBW. He and his wife, Audrey, had taken a step back from the public spotlight, preferring to focus on their own ventures and private life. However, his stance on the show's cancellation was less clear, with some speculating that he felt indifferent to its ending due to his lack of involvement in later seasons. In contrast, Jacob Roloff, the youngest son, had been the most outspoken in his criticisms of the family's public life. Having distanced himself from the show early on, Jacob was not as affected by the cancellation as others. In fact, his departure from the show years earlier made him less invested in the finality of its end. The cancellation of LPBW generated mixed reactions from fans and the media. Many fans were disappointed, having followed the show for years, and expressed sadness over not being able to watch the Roloff family grow and evolve on screen. Fans took to social media to express their feelings of loss, with some even petitioning for the show to return. Zach's reaction, in particular, sparked further discussion on social media. Many fans sympathized with him, understanding that the show had been a major part of his life for so long. Others questioned his feelings, wondering why he was so upset about the cancellation if he had already started moving away from the public life. Media outlets picked up on Zach's reaction, framing it as a more emotional and personal response than the other family members. The public's response often mirrored Zach's sentiments, grappling with the end of something that had been a staple of many viewers' lives for over a decade. With LPBW ending, the Roloff family was forced to find new ways to make a living and maintain their public personas. Zach Roloff's frustrations about the cancellation could be linked to his uncertainty about the future. Would his brand still be relevant? Could he continue to build his life with the same level of public engagement? In the aftermath of the show's conclusion, each family member sought new ways to grow personally and professionally. Zach and Tori, for example, had already built a substantial social media presence, which they used to promote their family life and personal brand. Matt and Amy also turned to their respective businesses and new ventures. The farm itself remained a focal point for many of the family members, particularly Zach, who had hoped to one day take over the farm. However, after the cancellation of the show, there were doubts about whether the farm could continue without the platform that LPBW provided. As the Roloff family moves on from Little People, Big World, their lives continue to evolve in new and unexpected ways. While Zach's vocal dissatisfaction with the cancellation is understandable, it's also a reflection of how important the show was to his identity and his family's livelihood. Despite the cancellation, the Roloff family's